find the slope of the tangent line to the curve. So we got a curve here at the point x, y, pi over 4, 1. So we got the curve tangent of xy equals y. And we know that slope of tangent line means derivative. And we are supposed to evaluate the derivative at this point. So let's find the derivative. Since we cannot isolate y, we use the implicit differentiation. Okay, that means we need to take the derivative of both sides. So take the derivative with respect to x, take the derivative with respect to x. That means in the left hand side we got tangent of something, and that something we can say, let's say u. So it looks like tangent of u. And we know that when we have tangent of some function, its derivative is, from the chain rule, secant square u times u prime, where u is the inside function. So using that, this is secant square u times u prime equals, right hand side just y prime. By the way, y prime is derivative of y with respect to x, and this is the slope of tangent line. Here we are not done because is a prime x times y. So here we must use the product rule because we got a product, so we will use the product rule. Okay, so using the product rule we get secant square x y times, so bracket, uv prime, derivative of uv, the product is derivative of x times v plus derivative of y times first equals y prime. Okay, now we are done with the derivative part. Next we need to isolate y prime, but here we got bracket plus, that means we need to distribute them. There is no other way out to isolate y prime. So when we distribute, then we'll have a term containing y prime and y prime in the right hand side as well. So we need to collect the terms containing y prime. So let's distribute. We did. Now let's distribute. So y times this, y secant square xy plus this one times y prime x, or x y prime secant square xy equals y prime. And as you can see, y prime is here and here. So move this term over. That means subtract this from both sides. So we are left with y secant square xy equals, y is there, y prime is there, minus this term. So y prime minus this term. Why are we moving to the right? So that we can factor y prime. So I'm factoring, I'm skipping one step. So y prime minus this, y prime factors out, so 1 minus y prime out, so x secant square xy. Now we can isolate y prime by dividing both sides by this junk, 1 minus x secant square xy. So this implies y prime equals this, y secant square xy all over this, 1 minus x secant square xy. Do not try to cancel anything. There is a minus sign, so we don't have any factors on the bottom. Here we got a factor but not on the bottom. So we found the slope of tangent line. Next we want to evaluate the slope of tangent line at the point pi over 4, 1. X equals pi over 4, y equals 1. So thus the slope of tangent line at the point is, so y prime at, I mean you don't have to write this notation, you just write y prime equals y is 1 times secant square x times y. X is pi over 4 and y is 1, so pi over 4 times 1 is just pi over 4 all over 1 minus x is pi over 4 times secant square xy. Xy means just pi over 4. Now we need to recall the unit circle to determine the value of secant square pi over 4. We know that cosine pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. And secant is reciprocal of cosine. That means secant of pi over 4 is reciprocal 2 over root 2. But 2 over root 2 can be simplified as this 2 is root 2 times root 2 over root 2. Now we can cancel, so this is pretty much root 2. So secant pi over 4 is root 2. So we're going to put that over here. Secant square pi over 4 means secant pi over 4 quantity square. Same thing here, which is root 2. So this is 1 times, doesn't matter. Secant pi over 4 is root 2 and is square. So on the top we got root 2 square all over 1 minus pi over 4 times, this is same as this, secant pi over 4 root 2 square. Okay, let's simplify and we are done. Root 2 square means just 2 over 1 minus, this is pi over 4 times, this is 2, pi over 4 times 2. So pi over 4 times 2 means 2 divides twice, so pi over 2. Okay, so pi over 4 times 2 is pi over 2. Maybe combine the bottom, 2 over, we can multiply by 2 over 2, so 2 minus pi over 2. Now we can keep change and flip, that's 2 goes to the top, so 4 over 2 minus pi. That's the final slope of tangent line at the point. So pretty much slope of tangent line at this point. Okay, if we are asked to find equation of the tangent line, then this should be m, the slope.